Ear piercing basically has two benefits. One is there's no license for this. You guys can do this now outside the school to your friends, earn additional income. And the second benefit is the cost structure. When you buy these earrings to pierce a client's ears, your cost per pair is about $2 for these. These malls charge, you no more than I do, $20, $30 to do this. It takes 5 minutes, it's done. So you make a pretty good profit on it because it doesn't take up a lot of your time. What we're going to talk about this morning is why the holes can close, infect, you get the little lumps in your ears. We're going to get into that stuff in detail. If you decide to offer ear piercing in your shop or salon where you're going to be working, it's important that you put the certificate of accomplishment up somewhere in your service area for your clients to see. It's not a license, but it tells your clients you've had some training, formal training anyway, to do it safely. Your client's sitting there in your chair for at least a half an hour and they see this. It's kind of a conversation piece. They start asking you questions about it. You answer their questions, you will pierce some ears. It's impulsive, you make some extra money, and that's great. But use it as a marketing tool. This works. Tell your clients as you get to know each other, say, look, I know you have family members and friends with kids. When those kids get their ears pierced, their parents bring them out to the malls to have it done. You may have done it with your own kids. Tell your family members and friends the next time their kids want their ears pierced, bring them to you. You've had the training to do it safely, and tell them you'll pierce their kids' ears for free because you're only giving away $2 your cost or so of the earrings in exchange for the parent getting a service or maybe buying some of your retail product. It's a way to get somebody new to come into your shop that normally wouldn't. Ear piercing's popular, girls. People are wearing 20 holes in their ears and babies keep being born, so it doesn't go away. But here's the deal. If you've gone into a store before and they have your ears pierced, they sit you in the chair, they clean your ear, they mark your ear, hopefully, with what they call a surgical marker. They remove the earrings from its package. You take the bottom of the instrument, pull this plunger back. You take the front of the instrument, they slide one of the backs into it, they pull them apart. You take the mount, they turn it upside down. They put the earring style, a little hole or cylinder, they twist it, it comes right out. They take your ear, slide it in the front, pull the trigger back, they pierce it, let go of the trigger, pull the instrument down. What this procedure does, it puts the front and the back of the earring through the client's ear in a sterilized process. The problem is, what I just kind of showed you, is the training that goes on in these stores that offer this are not a whole lot more than that. That's why the holes can close, infect. A big problem people have today, we're going to talk about this, is costume jewelry. Anything they wear, they get itching, irritation on their skin. There's a few things you can do to get around that, and that's what we're going to talk about now as we go through the class. So what I do in my classes, toward the end of the class, you guys, I pass these little kits out to practice. But girls, guys, don't pierce each other's ears with these things. They're not clean, they're not sterile. You know. Let you pierce your teachers, but not each other. I do need a model of those. Anyone get? Oh, all right, you're right. That was easy.
You can do a bunch of them.
A bunch of ability clause. This is very similar to your chemical services that you guys offer here in the school. So if the client's under 18, you can still pierce their ear. It just has to be signed by the parents. So we all assume Chai's 18, so I'm not going to ask her how old she is. She's going to choose an earring from this display. These are called training studs. They're called that for a couple of reasons. One is they're made out of surgical steel, and if she wants her ears pierced with gold, the surgical steel will be covered with 24 karat gold. 24 karat gold is the only gold that's pure. It doesn't have what's called nickel in it. Some of you guys may have heard that word before. Nickel stands for lead and copper. Most jewelry you buy in the jewelry stores, even these high-end stores, they have nickel in it. These are virtually nickel-free. She has to wear these for 4 weeks, day and night, without removing them. After 4 weeks, you can take these out for the first time. But for the next 4 months, after the 4 weeks, tell your clients to wear the regular earrings every day and night, preferably something decent, 14 karat gold or higher. You can put them in this direction. These are 24 karat gold. They're like these. You can't pierce with these. These are to replace these. They're called hypoallergenic. You may have heard that word as well. But here's the problem. People get their ears pierced, they take these out 3-4 weeks later, and they start putting in the 99-cent earrings, which I'm not making fun of. But those are about 100% nickel. Even if you're not sensitive, you put a 99-cent earring in 3-4 weeks after your ears have just been pierced. That's when you can develop the sensitivity. The holes itch, they get sore, and they start swelling. So it's real easy. When you're piercing your client's ears, just tell them, keep the 99-cent earrings out until at least 4 months after they've been pierced. Or what you can do, this, in my opinion, this is the best thing to do. Shai can do this if she wants. Whatever earring she chooses, she can just leave it in for the full 4 months. She doesn't have to take them out in 4 weeks. What should I do before I touch Chai? Common sense, girls.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Sanitize your hands. For classroom purposes, you guys are all familiar with this, I use this antiseptic hand wash. You can wear gloves, but you're going to see my hands aren't going to touch the actual holes we pierce into Chai's ears. The second thing you should do before each ear piercing is you should also sanitize the moving parts of the ear piercing instrument. Now there is a difference between sanitation and sterilization. Sanitation is recommended on anything that's only going to touch the client's skin. Sterilization is required. So these ear piercing studs, whichever style, you gotta choose a style, I forgot. Whichever style she chooses, they're going to look like this. They've all been sterilized in a gas heat. These are the only things you should use to pierce their ears. Now before you get started, you want to check their ears for any little lumps. If you guys feel your ears, you might feel lumps or not. If you had them pierced. Honey, my hands are cold.
Yeah, that's okay.
Mary, are you freezing meat in here? What are you doing in here? This is, both sides?
The air conditioner.
Yeah, as I said, you're welcome to do like 20
do
of
100
them.
of them.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do the other side too?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's called scar tissue. You may feel that little lump on your ear when they've been pierced. That's called scar tissue. If you do ear piercing, this happens a lot. People come in, they ask you to reopen their holes because they've closed previously, but they want them reopened in the same spot. If you feel a lump, that's scar tissue. You pierce it, you break it, it gets bigger and bigger each time. So if there's a lump or not there, the hole's closed, just pierce directly next to it, to one side or the other. If there isn't any scar tissue, then that's fine. You can go ahead and pierce it in the same spot. If you want to get rid of scar tissue, by the way, you can get pure vitamin E oil, or what's that called? Tea tree oil. You can use that. You rub it on there for like a week, and what it does is it breaks it down. It dries it out, and it works really well. The most important thing is cleaning the ear. So I'm going to clean off Chai's ears with alcohol before I pierce them. What alcohol does on your skin, it takes the oils off your skin. What it doesn't do effectively is heal, because it tends to over dry the skin. So instead of alcohol, when we're done, I'm going to give her this tube of ear care, not this one, ear care gel. This is an antiseptic. Antiseptics are much more mild. They don't over dry the skin. Now if I didn't have this, I can still pierce her ear. I have to use one of those. I just tell her to go to the drugstore. You can get Bactine, or I'm a big fan of this. You guys have seen this probably. Neosporin, I'm a big fan of this. This is really good stuff. But Neosporin is an antibiotic. An antibiotic is designed to kill the infection. An antiseptic is designed to prevent the infection. They're opposite of each other, but it's really good. It works really, really well. And you only need to clean them twice a day, just once in the morning, once in the evening. These stores that pierce ears, some of them may tell you to clean them like 10 times a day. You don't want to do that because then you keep it too moist. It has to dry. There's a drying element to the healing element, however you want to call it. Now you can pierce anywhere on the outside of the ear, but if you pierce up here, they had to put that on the release forms. If you do pierce up here, this is called, some of you guys may have done this. This is called the cartilage, the gristle. This is soft bone tissue. When you pierce in the cartilage, technically it's like breaking or chipping bone. That can hurt a lot more than piercing down here. So if somebody wants their ear pierced up here for the first time, just let them know. That can be more painful. It's not new, it's newer development now, is the nose. They've approved nose piercing now with an instrument in certain states. Now I gotta make a couple things clear on this. If you pierce the nose, it's like piercing up here. It's cartilage, it's soft bone tissue. So it can be more painful. Excuse me, and you have to use the mini earring. They come in 3 different sizes, and you don't use the smallest one, you don't put the back in. The client's got to go out in the next day or two and replace it with a little nose ring, leave it in there and clean it for the next 4 months. However, right now in California anyway, they haven't approved the nose piercing.
They haven't?
They have not. No. So what I'm saying here, if you do this, the threading salons do it anyway. Salons, they do it anyway. They don't care. But just my recommendation: if you do this, don't do the nose. You do anywhere in the ear, but don't do the nose in your shop or salon. Do it outside, your friends, somebody you don't like, whatever you want to do. But don't do the nose in the shop. What I do want to address, though, is body piercing. Eyebrows, tongues, nipples, navels, things of that nature. Those should never be pierced with an ear piercing instrument. Those should only be pierced with a hollow needle. The advantage the instrument has over the needle, it doesn't cause bleeding. And the reason for that, when the instrument pierces your ear, it's kind of like piercing a balloon that never bursts. The training stud goes through the ear, the skin tissue wraps around the earring post, it seals itself immediately. With body piercing, the function or procedure, they take a hollow needle, they push it to the body part you want pierced, it removes a small layer of skin, and then they immediately replace it with the tongue ring, the navel ring, whatever. The ring they replace it with, if the post is too small for the hole they just made with that little hollow needle, it doesn't seal. If it doesn't seal, you guys, it can bleed, and in some cases bleed a lot. So be real careful. Nothing wrong with body piercing. I'm not throwing that under the bus. I'm just saying if you do want that done personally, it's wise to find somebody that has experience with that. Because the function of a body piercing is done by the person's hand. The function of the ear piercing, we'll get started now, is not done by my hand, it's done by the instrument. So there is a big distinction, between those two procedures. Oh, and I forgot to show you this. I'm only going to mark off Chai's ears where we're going to pierce them with this surgical marker. This is the same thing that a surgeon uses when they mark your body for surgery. It's made out of vegetable oil. People tell me they get their ears marked in some of these stores, you guys, with pens, Sharpies. That can be dangerous because some of those things have lead in the ink. Lead in your bloodstream and get lead poisoning. So, you doing the fourth hole, honey?
So, okay, so the fourth one is closed because my
up?
earring, but actually the top, as I said, go for it. Just do the whole thing.
I usually close my eyes when I do this, so it doesn't really matter.
Fine.
Yeah, she can look in the mirror. She don't like it. Too late, though. I already marked it. I was going to do the fourth one up, and then you want to do this side, or you want to do two on that side?
So
Wanna do
can
the
we
top?
do,
Yeah,
can we
yeah,
do the top too?
Yeah.
And
I
then we-
won't feel anything, honey, so don't worry about me. Let's see if you like that. Oh, which one did you want, too? I forgot. Any questions, by
these
the way,
ones,
girls, guys? You guys have any questions? Raise your hands. I forgot to say that.
this one.
It's just the ball?
Yeah, the ball.
Let me see if I got mine. Yeah, you guys have any questions? Don't be shy. Raise your hands. I will try to answer them.
How many piercings can you get at once?
That's a good question.
Tattoos.
Uh,
If I can do the tattoos,
I just do two. Honey, Shy, you're going to shoot me. I don't have any. I have the gold one.
The gold balls, none of the silver ones?
No, but I have the silver diamond.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, who asked me that? Oh, you asked me right in front of me. Yeah, you can, technically you can do as many as you want, but I personally will only do two on one side at a time. Before we had I'm going to show you the stuff that soothes, and I'm going to put this on in a second, but before we had that, I did a guy once with three at one time, and it put him in a lot of pain, so I just don't do that. But that's a personal thing. That's a good question. It's a very good question. There's no reason to do more than two, in my opinion, so. Any other questions, you guys? Good question. Wash my hands again. Good question. Oh, go ahead.
How is the healing process if you pierce more than two?
It's the same healing process, but the kind of
You put
the shock to
a lot
the
of
ear.
stress on the ear?
Yeah, I think you do, especially up here.
Right.
So we'll do up here first, and then if she's still alive, we'll do the other one. No, just kidding. No, we'll.
It's okay, I'll survive.
But it can be more pain. There's no reason to do more than two.
Do you
in my
do this
opinion.
one right here?
Oh, that's a good question. The trachea, you guys see what I'm pointing at? Technically, you can. I don't do the trachea because there's nerve endings that go through it. That's got to hurt too, by the way. It's cartilage. But there's nerve endings that go through it. If you hit the nerve, whether an instrument or even a needle, it kind of numbs your cheek. It's very temporary. You're not going to die. But anywhere on the outside, you don't have to worry about hitting any of those nerves, that's a good question. Go ahead, sweetie.
What are the chances of you messing up?
Well, I'm going to pass the kits out. You're going to see you pull the trigger back. You should go right on there, so you shouldn't. But I'll show you that, you know, when I pass out the kits. It's a little easier to see. Any other questions, you guys? Now, actually, I mentioned this. I should pass this around, you guys. This will be a little easier for me to explain. On the display there, I mentioned earlier, they come in 3 different sizes of earrings you can pierce with. They come in a large, a regular, and a mini. So the instruments have these little adapters in them to fit the different sizes. And they have these little clips you can use to change them. You take this clip, set it onto the instrument, pull the plunger back, you can take the adapter out. This is had to go for a large size earring. There's one for a regular size and then a mini size. I think we're going to use the regular size earring. So I put the regular size clip in, pull the trigger back, it's ready to load. Or you can change these with your fingers. Just pull the plunger back, you can take it out with your fingers. If you use your fingers to change it, what should you do to the instrument? Remember, it starts with an S. Sanitize. Very good. Sanitize it. Now, the other thing that can cause an infection when somebody pierces your ear, it's actually the person that is piercing your ear. Because what they'll do when they open these packages and they remove the sterilized earrings, they'll touch one or both of the little points that stick out the back. If you touch the points, the earrings are no longer sterile. You can touch the backs or the heads of the studs, but not the points. If you're wondering, gloves technically is not considered sterilization. So that's the only restriction. Make sure you don't touch the points. Now when you load the instrument, again I'm going to pass these out in a minute, hold the instrument level, take the front of the instrument, slide the back into the front straight up and down until it stops, pull them apart from each other. Take the mount, turn it upside down, put the earring style into the little adapter we just changed, twist it towards you, it comes right out. And then the ear piercing kits come with this ear care gel. This is an option. You don't have to use this, but you should because it works. This also has some aloe vera oil in it. I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to put it along the earring post without touching the post. So as the earring goes through the ear, it'll soothe it. And then right after I pierce the ear, I'm going to put a few drops of this ear care solution on it. I mentioned a second ago, this is really good stuff. This has benzalkonium chloride in it. As soon as I put this on Chai's ear, she's not going to feel anything. You guys will see that. So, although it didn't work yesterday when I used it on the one. Just kidding. Okay, you guys see this? Okay, all I'm going to do is take the side of Chai's ear, pull the ear, insert it up. I pull the trigger back. 1, 2, 3. Pierce the ear, pull the gun straight away.
You didn't even blink.
I felt nothing. Now watch, I put a few drops of this on. Does that feel better? Yeah. Say yes.
Yes.
Loud as you can. No, I'm kidding around. It's good for little kids, these little 5-year-olds. You pierce one ear, I'm telling you, chasing that kid around the store with their mother. This helps. It does help. And babies' ears, newborn babies, I forgot to mention that. Make sure they've had a tetanus shot. When a baby's born, it has its mother's immunities from the mother's womb to fight infection. But as the baby gets older, 4 or 5 weeks old, the immunities wear down. So I believe it's 8 weeks they have what's called a DPT shot, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, I believe it is. So yeah, make sure they've had that. You want to do the other side or the side?
Yeah, I want to do, as I said.
The fourth one up?
And then the other side, sure.
Oh, jeez. Well, you want to do the other side now and then?
The fourth and then the other side.
Okay, well let me just do this right now. We'll
Sure.
do this so I can finish this up. So I can get through this. It's too much. And also, you mentioned about can you mess up? When you pull the trigger back, it'll be a little bit clearer when I pass these out. You can pull it back halfway so it puts the tip of the ear piercing post right on the mark. So if it's not lined up, you just let go and then you realign it. That's where you shouldn't have to mess up. You two on the same side, it hurts more.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
She's good.
I'm
She's
okay.
good. She's tougher than me. Okay, same thing. Pull the ear, instrument up, pull back the trigger. 1, 2, 3. Pull that up.
Thank you.
It looks good. Looks good.
I'm cracking.
Okay, sorry.
Let's see, turn.
I'm going to give the gel to Chai. How many times a day should she clean it? You guys remember? Twice a day. There you go, Chai.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get through this first and then. Any questions? It's easy, students. The key is doing it safely. That's the whole. Okay, this is the hard part of my class. What I want to do now, I want to pass these kits out to you guys to practice. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Put it straight up toward the ceiling. When you do that, on the bottom of the instrument there's a silver knob. Don't turn this, pull it back real hard all the way until it clicks into place. And then you want to hold the instrument level throughout the whole procedure. Try and hold it straight across like this. The earrings are going to be set on these little mounts. Hold them with your thumb on one side, your finger on the other. The flat back piece should be on the bottom and the round gold ball piece on the top. Take the very front of the instrument where I'm putting my little finger. There's a slot right here. Take this slot and set it directly underneath one of the little flat backs, the flat pieces. Slide it in straight up and down and then pull it apart from each other. I'll come and help you guys because it's hard to see that. Pull it away. I'll show you. Just put that little back piece. We just put that in. Look at my little finger. I'm going to move it to the right. There's a little round silver hole. Watch me. Take the gold ball, set it in front of the silver hole. Slide the gold ball in the silver hole. Once you slide it in, just twist that little mount towards you, or you can pull it up. Either way, it doesn't matter. Now come around. Host. Look at my finger. You see the moving finger? It's hitting what's called a trigger. Take the trigger, pull it back, and pierce it. And then pull the gun straight down. So it puts the front and back.
Can I use the help for a second?
Sure.